Hello everyone, this is Martin from Extreme Senses Software. Well, today I'm gonna do an overview of Quantum Box. Before we start, very important, I have to tell you the minimum requirements that is needed to run Quantum Box. It's very important that you have those minimum requirements because this software needs a little bit more horsepower from your computer. First, you need Windows operating system version 7, 8.1 or Windows 10, not in tablet mode but in desktop mode. Also, you need for your CPU, your processor of your computer, laptop or tablet, quad core minimum with 2 gigahertz or better, and also you need 2 gigabytes of memory or higher, graphic cards with a resolution at least 1366 by 768, and these are the most important requirements. You can go on my website. Everywhere it says minimum requirements for a software, there's a link to in a tutorial how to check your system, what you have in your system. There's a tool there that I'm explaining how to use. It tells you everything. So before buying, make sure you have the minimum requirements. Very important. Alright, let's go over the basics of Quantum Box. Quantum Box is a software for Windows, again, that enables you to communicate with the spirits of the dead by sweeping through the internal banks, internal sound banks that are new as opposed to the other software. Every software I do, normally I change my sound banks, and there's nothing special to do when if you want to really have the basics. This is the basics that most ghostbox software has. There's the sweep rate here. It goes down to 500 milliseconds to 1000 milliseconds. You got the power switch here to turn on Quantum Box. It's gonna start sweeping right away. You can start a session right away if you want. Keep in mind, if you don't know how to do a ghostbox session or don't know what it is, just go and just search, do your search on Google for ghostbox session, how to start a ghostbox session, how to do a ghostbox session. This is very important. It's not magical. No application, no software, or even a ghostbox or physical ghostbox is not magical. It takes patience, takes practice. So keep that in mind, please. Also, you have the volume knob here and the banks button. I'll explain later. The settings button here I'll explain later also. And you got the virtual pedals here, effects pedal, that I'll explain later also. In the middle part you have the visualization where it will move to the sound of Quantum Box, of responses that you might receive from Quantum Box. All right. So I'm gonna turn it on. You'll see what, without doing anything else special, you can start a session. Turn the power on, and you're gonna see this will move to the sound. All right. So that's the basics. You can start right normally a session with just that. Now let's go. I'll go over the virtual effects part, and let's do that. The virtual effects pedals. This is a big feature. I've seen a lot of videos, people buying external pedals like Reverb Pedal, Echo, or whatever, noise reduction. By the way, there's not going to be any virtual effect pedal that's called a noise reduction because there's no noise. You don't need it. You don't need to cut off the spirits with this software. In fact, most of my software, you don't need a noise reduction pedal. Just saying that. So it works well off the bat. So I'm gonna go through to show you quickly each of the virtual pedal and what it does, but you need to experiment with that. You'll see they're really mimicking guitar pedals. So let's start off with the reverb pedal. All right. So this is a reverb pedal with 3 adjustments. Not just reverb. There's adjustment similar to a real guitar pedal. So let me show you that. So you can change how it sounds, the reverb. There's 3 settings of reverb, mix of reverb that you can do with it. And you can, I'm just gonna stop that. Remove, start it. Now, every time you change your setting on any of the pedals that has a tuning on it, it will be automatically saved the next time you start Quantum Box. So don't worry if you just tweak this and you really like it that way. You close Quantum Box. Next time you start Quantum Box and you open the pedal, the same settings will be there. There's another way to save the settings, but this is one way. So automatically it will save the settings of any of the pedal that has settings. And then you have echo. Just going to turn off the reverb so you can hear. And there's 2 adjustments for the echo. So again, you need to experiment with that. You can have less echo, etc. But you need to experiment, and the mix of all the pedals together could be very interesting. So I'm going to stop that. That's echo. 2 adjustments there. Then you have the flanger pedal. Alright, I'm going to put it here. The flanger pedal has 3 adjustments. There's feedback, frequency, and delay. So you see, can have interesting effects with that. You can mix that again with all the pedals at the same time. This is why I'm mentioning at the beginning it needs a bit more processing power for your computer. It's because of these pedals. There's more demanding on your machine and your sound card, so you need a bit more power. Then you have the chop off pedal, which basically chops a little bit the sound. Notice, and you can have it fast or slow. So the chop is faster or slower, and you can mix that again with the other pedals. And then you have the equalizer. There's an equalizer that you can, I like to put it here, that you can change the sound, the quality of the sound. You can want more. There's 8 band. Could be clearer that way. Maybe you want more bass on the sound, lower bass. See, the sound is clearer. So if you don't hear well, you can clear it up a bit with this. Alright. Turn it off. Again, these settings will be saved. Now the chorus pedal. I'll put it here. The chorus pedal has 4 settings. And this again could be interesting. Again, experiment. It's not good or bad settings. There's a lot of settings, and I'm telling you, with the mix of all these settings, you can have really interesting results. Alright? And then the last one is the reverse pedal, which will reverse all the banks. So the sound will play in backwards. So if you have responses that way, I'm telling you that's possibly a positive response. Alright, so these are the 6 pedals, including the equalizer that you can set. Once you close the application, you reopen it and you open the pedals one by one. They will be placed exactly the same way that you placed them. Okay, so if I reopen now all the pedals, it's going to be placed at the same place. Same, even the equalizer. So you don't need to worry about, oh, I had a good setup. It's going to stay that way when you open the pedal. Right? And now, the next part is going to be the banks part. So the next feature is the banks button here. If you click on that, this will allow you to put your own sound banks. Quantum Box comes with some default sound banks, but you can put your own audio files, as long as they are MP3 or OGG format, that there is a minimum of 1 meg size and a maximum of 10 megs, and you need a minimum of 5 audio files, and you can put up to a maximum of 100 audio files in here. So to enable this, you just click the activate custom banks, and then you see this is the last ones I've used. It always keep the last ones you've used, but I could have saved it to a list. I could have saved that list to a file and later on load it into Quantum Box for another session, because you could have different set of sound banks and you want to save the list and want to reload that later on. So pretty easy. I'm going to clear up the list here to show you how to add them. So I'm going to remove everything. So you see it says a minimum of 5. So I'm going to do add files. I have in my banks here, I'm going to select everything. Alright, like this, open, and it's going to add them to the list. That's it. You can remove any 1 or 2 if you want more. Remove more than 1, you click 1 and then you hold the control button and you select the others like that, and you can do remove selected. We're not going to do that for now. And you can also preview the file. If I want to preview that file, for example, yeah, that's a Chinese file, and that's it. When you're ready to use that, you click the X, and it's gonna automatically be used the next time you start Quantum Box. One note: the internal sound banks will be replaced gradually by these ones. After 2 minutes, you should have all your customs being used and eventually being cycled off to different banks in this list. Alright, so it takes about 2 minutes before everything is using your own sound files. So I'm gonna close this. Now it's gonna use my custom audio files. If I start it, it's gonna be using my files because it says active. So eventually we'll go through the 15 files and gonna reuse that. It's gonna be changing so to replace the custom sound banks. So that's it for the custom sound banks. So this is a powerful feature. It's easy to use also. And now let's go through the visualizations. First, you need to make sure that you're power on. So by default, the visualizations are not on. So you have to click here. And just a note, if you have a slower computer, it might cause a little bit of trouble. So that's why you can turn it off or on with this switch here. So on older machines, you may need to turn it off to avoid issues. So when it's on, you have 4 visualizations, and there's 4 little buttons here that you can change the visualization. The first one is quantum scope, the second one is Q space, And the third one is Tornado Blend. And the last one is Psychedelic Waves, which is really cool also. So these will react to the sound, and you can choose one of them if you want during the session. That's it for the visualizations. And now let's go see the settings panel. The settings dialog, when you click here, is going to open this window here. First thing you have virtual pedal settings. Set virtual pedals to be on top of other windows. What it does, this is checked by default, all your pedals, when you open them, they will be on top of any windows you have open on your desktop. If you don't want that, you just uncheck that. Reset all pedals to default settings. If you change your pedals and you want to get back to the original settings that was there when you install for the first time Quantum Box, you can do that. If you want to save the guitar, all the virtual pedals effects and settings, you just save that to a file, and you can then share it to other users of Quantum Box, and they can reload that in Quantum Box, and they're going to have the exact same settings that you had when you did your session. It will also save the sweep rate speed. And you have a help file there you can open. There's a bit of information there. Please use that before emailing me, please. And the rest is for support purposes, only to be used when I ask for, if I asked it for a support reason. Alright, so that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Not expensive. It's a good price. And that's it. Thank you very much.